In this session, we'll look at how to get the most value from Civil 3D Profile View titles. We'll start with a quick tour of this drawing. Over here on the left, I have an existing ground surface called EG. I also have a proposed alignment called First Street. These two components were used to pull a surface profile. I then created a finished grade profile for First Street, and these items are being displayed in this profile view to the right. Now, take a look at the top of the profile view. This label represents the title for this view. Technically, it's called the graph title, and currently it's reporting the name of the alignment used to create this view. Now, having the alignment name is nice. That being said, there are a bunch of other helpful engineering parameters that can be incorporated into this label. For instance, in addition to the alignment name, I'd also like to know the station range displayed in this view. Maybe I'd like to include the horizontal and vertical scale information as well. To do that, I can simply edit the parameters of this title. Let's take a look. I'm going to zoom out, and I'll pan the drawing over to give myself some room. This title is a property of the profile view style, so to edit that, we will edit the style. I can do that by selecting the grid, and then I'll right-click, and I'll choose Edit Profile View Style from the menu. In the dialog box, I'll select the Title Annotation tab. Here in the upper left corner, we can see the settings that control the appearance of the profile view title. Down below, we have settings that control its location relative to the profile grid. And then at the very bottom, we have a setting that controls the border around the title. Now, I'd like to remove the border, so I'll click to remove this check, and I'll click Apply. You can see that change on screen. Since we're editing the title, I'd also like to place it in the lower left corner of the grid. I'll do that by changing the location setting to bottom, and then justification to left. I will also remove any of the current offsets, and I'll click Apply, and we'll take a look. You can see the label is placed here in the lower left corner of the grid. Now I still have the band down below. That's about an inch tall. I also have this additional text, so to give myself enough room, let's give the title a Y offset of -1.7 inches. That should give me enough clearance. I'll click Apply. We can see that on screen. Let's click OK, and we'll zoom in and take a closer look. Next, we'll look at how to edit the properties of this label. I'm going to go right back into the style. I'll select the grid and right-click. Edit Profile View Style. Note that I can change the text style associated with the title. Here I can change its height. If I want to change the properties of the label itself, I can click this Edit button. You'll find that editing a profile view title is a lot like editing a Civil 3D label style. It's the same workflow. I'm going to click this programming code, and right here we can see it's displaying the parent alignment name. Currently, this is preserving the case. I'd like this to be uppercase, so I'll make a change, and then I'll click the arrow to overwrite that code. I will then click at the end of this label, and I'll press Enter, and we'll create another label. Now, when I pressed Enter, you can see the cursor's flashing here in the middle. That's because by default, this title is center justified. To change that, I'm going to select the Format tab, and then I'll change the justification setting to left. We'll go back to Properties, and then I'll click to put my cursor back where it was. Now I'd like to create a label that displays the station range for this profile view. We'll do that by opening the Properties menu, and you can see the number of helpful items here that we can add to the title label. In this case, I'll choose Profile View Start Station. We'll keep the default properties, and I'll click the arrow to push that programming code into the editor. Now, in this case, I'd like the label to be in kind of a sentence format, so I'm going to click in front of this text, and I'll type STA space, and then I'll click after it, and I'll type to STA space. And then under Properties, I'll choose Profile View End Station, and I'll click the arrow to push that over. Let's take a quick look at how things are going. I'm going to click OK and Apply. This looks good. Finally, I'd like to add the scale information for the profile view. So we'll go back into the editor. I'll click after this last label, and I'll press Enter. And you know what? Maybe I'd like this text to be blue. We'll do that by going back to the Format tab, and I'll change the color property. Let's go back to Properties. From here, I'll choose Drawing Scale. And then I would like this displayed to 2 decimal spaces. We'll click the arrow to push this over. Just for a second, we'll see what that gives us. I'll click OK, and then I'll click Apply. And you can see the scale matches the drawing scale. This will be the horizontal scale of the profile. I'm going to go back into the editor. I'll click in front of this label, and I'll type 1 inch equals. And then after the number, I'll put the apostrophe for feet, and then an abbreviation for horizontal. I will then press Enter, and I'll type 1 inch equals. I'll go back to Properties, and I'll choose Graph View Vertical Scale. We'll set this to 2 decimal spaces, and I'll push it over. I will then add an apostrophe and an abbreviation for vertical. When I'm finished, I'll click OK, and then OK, and we can see the finished label on screen. Let's pan this down a little bit. Since this label is dynamic, I know it will update if my profile view changes. Let's test that. I'm going to change the station range. I'll do that by selecting the grid, and I'll choose Profile View Properties. Here on the Stations tab, we can see the range is currently set to automatic. That gives us the full length of the alignment. I'm going to set this to User Specified Range, and we will start this at station 0 plus 50. I'll click Apply, and OK. We can see that change reflected on screen. Let's back up a little bit more, and we'll try adjusting the vertical scale. The vertical scale is a property of the Profile View Style, so let's select the grid. I'll right-click and choose Edit Profile View Style. And then here on the Graph tab, let's change the vertical scale to 1 inch equals 5 feet. I will then click Apply, and OK. We can see the grid changed, as did the label. When I'm finished, we'll just center this label on screen. So when it comes to profile view titles, remember that they are more than just an alignment name. They can include many profile view parameters. Simply add a parameter or two, and these titles can bring even more value to your civil design workflows. Would you like to explore other Autodesk infrastructure ideas and workflows? If so, please visit the Civil Immersion blog by scanning the QR code or by following the URL listed below.